you're going to be a professor in charge of grading some English clubs, 7 in particular, with how they got on in the January transfer window. So there's a mixture of some of the top clubs, some of the middle clubs, and some of the other clubs as well. I'm not going to put them in those specific brackets. You can decide where they are. Now, I could start with Man United or Liverpool, but no, you used to play for Newcastle. I'm going to start with your former club. All I need from you for their transfer business in January is a letter. Is it an A+? Is it an F? How did Newcastle get on?
I'm going to give Newcastle A-. I really like the signing of Bruno Guimaraes. I think he's needed as a defensive midfielder. I also think he's very creative going forward. The addition of Chris Wood is a good one, especially when you consider who they got him from in terms of that relegation battle. Trippier on target, I think, again, our positions desperately needed.
I want to talk about Everton, because it's not only players they got in, it's a new manager as well, and it's going to be a new look in February. What's your grade for them?
I give Everton an A+. I like a lot of the work that they did. Listen, Digne left very early in the transfer window, but then I think it kind of shows exactly where Everton are and how bad things have been, that you let a player like Digne go, and then, what was it, a matter of days, a week later, Rafa Benitez is sacked. That makes absolutely no sense from running the football club perspective. If Rafa Benitez is that close to the edge, why do you let a player like Digne go? I really like the appointment of Frank Lampard in terms of the football that he'll bring. I will say that Frank doesn't have experience or much experience sitting as a player or as a manager in terms of relegation battles. Everton are slowly creeping towards that bottom 4. I don't think there'll be any real danger, but far too close for comfort for them right now. The other signings are very typical of Frank Lampard and Frank Lampard as a player. And if you remember Frank Lampard as a player, you have to get excited by the likes of Van der Beek coming in, despite his lack of minutes at Manchester United. Everything else just kind of, you see the direction. And so whereas it's early in the term right now, I'm going A+ for Everton.
Couple of good grades for Newcastle and Everton. I have a funny feeling this next one won't be as generous. Arsenal, nobody in. Out, Aubameyang, Kolasinac, Chambers, Maitland-Niles, Pablo Mari. How bad is it?
Listen, on the one hand, I think that Aubameyang had become a distraction, a highly paid distraction. So I sympathize with Arsenal and Arteta for letting him go. The others, while maybe surplus to requirements, and maybe for them, they wanted to go. I just worry about how deep that squad is, and it's more than no arrivals as well, Shaq, as well. I mean, that'll give some youngsters exactly, and that's the thing. You let that number of keep saying on the show, warm bodies go with nobody coming in. If all of a sudden there are a couple of injuries, then you find yourself really stretched. So all in all, agreed. I am going to go B-. It's
more generous than I thought it might be, but just hopefully the Arsenal youngsters, as we've seen, can now get the chance to flourish. What about Manchester United? Nobody in, and some players out on loan. Anthony Martial's gone, Van de Beek's gone as well, and Diallo up to Rangers. What about their transfer dealings or lack of in the January window?
Listen, they're players with that weren't playing as much as I praised Van de Beek and is joining Everton. He clearly wasn't going to get an opportunity at Manchester United. Diallo wasn't going to get many minutes himself. Martial, again, had become a lot of a distraction. My issues with Manchester United are not around that 3. I still think they have one of the strongest squads of that chasing pack for the top 4. I just feel that there are other issues in terms of their playing style, in terms of a mentality, which I didn't think we'd be seeing in the summer. So transfer business with nobody coming in and not really guaranteed top 4 position, I am going to go C.
Okay, let's move on to Liverpool. A couple of defenders out, but they have signed a player, Luis Diaz, in. What's your grade for them?
I not to question Jurgen Klopp, and Diaz is a player that is very much in keeping with players that he likes and can get the best out of. The players he got rid of, Williams and Phillips. Williams and Phillips. I didn't see them playing significant parts at all. No. And again, you know, they're fighting on so many fronts. Liverpool. So I'm going to go A for Liverpool.
Okay. Penultimate one is Spurs, and they've let a few players go, and they've brought a couple of decent players in from Juve, Kulusevski and Bentancur. Overall, is their squad strengthened by what they've done, and what grade do you give them?
I think that squad is strengthened. I like the two signings a lot, especially given Antonio Conte's preferred playing style. And the players that he let go weren't going to feature that much. They had been used, but Conte continues to complain about the lack of quality in that squad. I'm going to go A+ for Spurs as well. I like the business they did this January.
Before we get to our final team, I wish I had you as my tutor at school. You hand out A+ and A's pretty frivolously, and I like that. It just shows that you're a nice guy. So
I'm an understanding professor.
An understanding professor. Well, I don't know if I'm leaving the best to last, but I'm certainly leaving one of the best and the best business that they've done until last. Philippe Coutinho, on his own, would be a good signing for the transfer window. You add in Luca Digne, a backup in central defence, or perhaps a starter in Callum Chambers, a backup goalkeeper in Robin Olsen, and a couple of players who are squad players have left the football club. Where does that leave Aston Villa?
A+. I like all the work that they've done. I really do. And as much as I praise Target and joining Newcastle, that's what Newcastle needed. Surplus requirements at Aston Villa. I think Steven Gerrard really has been that good for Aston Villa as a manager. And this transfer window just kind of showed exactly that. So he also gets an A+ from Professor Hislop.
Well, thank you to Professor Hislop for your time. I know you're a busy man with all the lectures that you do. So thank you for that.
You get an A+ as well, Mark. That's just lovely.
Yeah, that's because I pay for it, Shaka. So it's been a busy transfer window. A lot of money has been spent. A lot of good players have been signed. A lot of squads have been bolstered. And for some teams, they're a lot stronger than they were when the January transfer window opened.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN+.